In this showdown worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, Midnight Dad slammed the table and seriously proclaimed, in neutral, "You know." Stumped on by life, John reluctantly went home to drown his sorrows in booze when suddenly a knock echoed at the insistent Angela arrived, and John, prepared to be unkind, found himself awkwardly unable to shut her out. However, Angela had to reveal her badge to get inside for a heart-to-heart, as her sister's eerie last words led her to seek John's help. She asked John to investigate her sister's suicide, adamant that her sister wouldn't off herself. She must have been led astray by some evil entity. But John was in no shape to help anyone else out, so with a heavy heart, he showed Angela to the door. But just as Angela stepped out, chaos erupted, and a horde of demons rushed in, hot on her heels. John realized the clue might be on the lady, so dashed after her. As he caught Angela, streetlights flickered off. Feeling the demons closing in, John quickly dragged Angela towards the only light left, a statue of the Virgin Mary, but even its glow began to fade. In a pinch, John snatched her rack, wrapped it around his hand, and set it ablaze. Many thought it was Jesus' cloth, but it was just a scrap of Moses' old robe. Later, John seriously asked Angela, "Are you sure your sister didn't commit suicide?" Angela shot back with determination. She would never do that. Convinced by Angela, John went to hell himself. They returned to plan their descent. What is the perfect connector between worlds? So they grabbed a basin of it to aid their hellish mission. So they got their magic bowl of water ready and started prepping for their trip to hell. Soaking their feet in it would protect them from hellfire. Simple science, right? Also, cats walk between worlds, and in many cultures they are seen as mystical beings who connect the living with the dead. With all preparations completed, John officially ventured into hell, presenting a scene as desolate and devastating as the aftermath of a nuclear explosion, utterly heart-wrenching. In fact, the director took inspiration from real nuclear test footage. John was holding the one thing that could get him back, the holy water. John's reputation had preceded him in hell. Within moments, demons and angels were zooming in. John fought his way through and finally found Isabel. She really was down there in hell. Isabel tore off a relic and tossed it to John just as the hordes of demons surrounded him. In a last-ditch effort, John clutched the relic and shattered the holy water. Miraculously, he made it back to the living world, only to find Angela waiting at the door with her tattoos glaring. John shrank in pain, steaming like he'd just returned from a hellish grind. His hands shivering and fumbling, John reflected thoughtfully upon his time spent in hell. He pulled out the relic emblazoned with his sister's hospital room number. Talk about a clue. Meanwhile, sensing something was off about Isabel's death, the rotund priest had secretly snuck into the morgue. Little did he know, the moment he touched the body, an ominous energy hit him like a freight train. The startling stigmata reflected on Isabel's arm sent him crashing down. In a state of sheer panic, he hastily attempted to drown his sorrows in alcohol, yet the bottle stubbornly refused to yield even a single drop. Ouch. How cruel. Terrified, he rushed into a store, guzzling booze, but found no drops left. Realizing he was out of options, he etched a clue into his palm for John before succumbing. When John and Angela arrived, the rotund priest lay lifeless on the floor of alcohol poisoning while John squinted at the mysterious symbol on the priest's palm in confusion. Unable to decipher its meaning, he decided to enlist P-Man for answers while following the relic's lead. Back in the sister's old room with Angela, John was convinced that even though it had been cleared out, something would turn up. The mysterious chapter 17 of Corinthians mentioned in the notes. It doesn't exist in any real Bible. John boldly noted that it actually does exist in the hellish version. P-Man flipped through the hellish scriptures, revealing the symbol the priest had left behind. Back in the medieval days, Mammon was one of the 7 deadly princes, the embodiment of greed, and highly influential. This movie portrays Mammon as Satan's son. Unhappy with Dad's vow of non-interference in the human realm, he decided to start his own club. But for purebred demons like Mammon to cross over, they need a powerful medium, Angela's sister. Yet, Isabel would rather bite the dust than be possessed. Plus, a body alone isn't enough. God's help is required to break the barrier. But how could God help a demon? It almost seems impossible unless there's a loophole. God isn't going to handle it personally. All they need is a contact from his camp. Just as P-Man hit the crux, a fly miraculously buzzed out of her eye. cold cut off, and by the time John reached Pimen's place, she had already kicked the bucket. The mystery of Isabel's death had just unraveled. This pushed Angela to seek justice for her sister. She confessed to John her hidden past. As one of the gifted sisters, she possessed immense spiritual powers, even more potent than her sisters. However, out of a desire not to be seen as unusual, she chose to shut down her spiritual senses, and indeed, as time went by, she gradually lost her natural talent. Now she begged John to help her reignite her spiritual gifts, but John firmly turned her down.